All right, guys, welcome back to Frugal Homestead, and boy, do I got a video for you today. We got hit with some major snow and freezing temperatures. So one day it got down to like 2 degrees, and I actually got a screenshot of it where it's 5 degrees, but the wind chill had it at -8. Now, you need to understand something about here. We are 200 foot above in elevation of town where they take those measurements. So our wind chills are always at least a few degrees colder, and our temperatures are always a few degrees colder. But I mean, just look around. Ice and snow. The tiny house is still covered even now. It's only about 15 degrees right now. Now, this cold temperature snap was a perfect test for the tiny house, and in most ways, it passed with flying colors. But in one way, it failed terribly. Let me explain how bad it failed. Okay, so most of you know that we do rainwater catchment here. Now, there's our water building. That would be the first place people would assume there would be a problem. But no, the pipes froze, but it wasn't that. And it wasn't the part that goes underground and into the tiny house. In fact, we actually have water in our bathroom where the water comes in. Where it froze was right here inside the wall. It is literally like a 6-foot run. Now, in order to understand the problem, you have to understand how I insulated, and you also have to understand why the insulation was done the way it was and how that was the win as well. So in these temperatures, our tiny house only had the wood burner going, and it has only turned up about 3/4 of the way. And we stayed upstairs over 70 all night long in those temperatures. I think a lot of people would have a problem keeping their whole house over 70 degrees in those temperatures. But downstairs, it's always like a 2-degree difference. So 67, 69, so it stays warm. And the reason why is how we insulated our tiny house. On the outside, it has Reflectix. It does not have any sheeting. This is pole barn style. So Reflectix, then 3 inches of foam, all right, and it's sealed in at all the edges. And then you have 3 inches of fiberglass, and then Reflectix again. So when you're thinking about this, it's like a big sandwich. There's just one problem. The pipes are in the middle of the sandwich. You would think in your mind that that's good. It keeps them safe, keeps them insulated. The Reflectix from the inside reflects the heat back in. It doesn't let it pass through to keep the pipes warm. The only part where it's on an exterior wall is that one part. So we tried to cover it with foam and Reflectix, and then we superheated the house to like 80 some degrees in the kitchen. It didn't break loose. So what that tells me is that's a no-go. So we have to make some changes inside the house, which I'll show you here in a minute. But I want to say the big thing about this is I'm accepting of what happened there. That's not a big deal. The real thing is I'm super happy with how the tiny home performed in those very cold temperatures. Because like I said, we didn't even have the wood burner turned all the way up. I wasn't choosing the best wood. I was just throwing in whatever. It burnt almost no wood. And it just made it an amazing experience in very cold temperatures because I didn't have to worry about it. Obviously, those pipes freezing was a problem, but I'm about to deal with that. But our outdoor stuff with water all held up. Nothing froze. Those are some pretty cold temperatures even for here in Ohio. We have some of those. I think I've seen it get to like -12 in actually temperature here at our house. So, you know, that's kind of the top edge we're going to get to. So by being that, I am honestly not worried about the tiny house at all as far as the exterior water or the house heating at all, which is a big relief to me. But we got to fix this plumbing issue. We got to fix it now. All right, guys, now we're inside. So, as I told you, we have no water. Turn it on, turn it off, side to side, nothing. Sink's out of commission. We come in the bathroom. We got cold water, no problem. no hot water. Now, let me explain what goes on here, then it'll make sense. Here's our line that comes in, okay? That line comes in and goes through the wall and over to go to the kitchen. Then our cold water comes off this and feeds these two. Now, the cold water goes over there, feeds everything cold water wise, goes through the hot water tank, comes back down this wall on this red line, and runs all the hot water on this side. So when that goes in that wall and turns, it froze off. Now you can even see the white stuff on the wall there. That's Reflectix. This stuff. That right there. That's Reflectix. So what that's doing is it's reflecting all the heat back into the house and keeping the pipes on the cold side. They're like sandwiched in between there at a middle temperature that's not the outside temperature, not the inside temperature. And I thought with all that insulation that would be enough, but clearly not. So when we go over to the kitchen here, it goes through the wall, then comes in this interior wall to here. And once it comes into here, it comes back out of the wall. And like I said, this goes through here, cold water goes through, and then it goes back. So we need a solution now. And the solution is exactly what I should have done from the beginning, which is start here, come on the inside of the wall, go behind the refrigerator, through the carousel cabinet, through these cabinets, and connect in, taking it completely out of the wall. Now, for those of you who are new here, I hate plumbing. I'm just going to say that again. I hate plumbing. And generally in these snowstorms or these ice fronts, I like to just hunker down and try to make sure nothing breaks and take some time off. But we've been plagued this time because Missy's starter decided to die on her old Honda CR-V literally the moment the weather turned bad. So I spent yesterday fixing that problem in 13-degree temperatures. Now I'm going to be solving this problem, but luckily this is an indoor project. What's not lucky about it is I live in a little town that doesn't have a lot of hardware stores that carry this stuff to do this. I personally would rather do this with hose barbs and hose, even though I know it's not code, but trying to do PEX inside of cabinets I've learned sucks. But because I don't have a lot of stuff in this town that I can get, we're going to go ahead and try and do it with PEX. So I'm not going to make you guys watch me cuss this whole adventure. I will bring you back when I get the plumbing changed over, show you what it looks like, how I did it, walk you through it, and hopefully we'll have water in here before my wife makes it back home tonight. Alright guys, only a few short hours later and we've got the problem fixed. Now the funny part is I went to cut the last fitting to change it and it broke loose. So it had thawed out enough to break loose, but I'm not even taking the chance on this. I actually want this house built to be able to go down to like wind chills of -20. So running these pipes inside is just a good idea. So let me turn you around and show you what we did. All right, so let's start off just to show you. We have water now. Hot water, cold water. We have water and we have no leaks. Now, under here you can see I cut the posts off of the wall, connected them in, and they go back behind the hot water heater now. Everything's dry as a bone. Then we go back here under the carousel, and what I did to make it easier is I bought the bendable 90s. So you snap the lines into that to reinforce them. See if I can get you back here so you can see them. There you go. So I bought two of them, and just to show you how ghetto my town is, they didn't even have two of the same ones. One's metal, one's plastic. But you take what you can get in my town. But I'll throw a picture up on the screen of those, and they're worth the money because that would have stunk to try and get the crimpers back in to crimp the PEX. But just in case there ever is an issue, here behind the refrigerator, I have a double stud in that corner, so I had to come out some. It is going to hold the refrigerator out some, but I don't mind it. It's not going to hurt anything because we have a very small refrigerator. But we have shutoffs. Obviously, same thing in my town. We don't have anything matching, so that's what we got. But we're in there. And then we'll come over here to the bathroom. And under here, you can see I cut off the wall, ran them in, connected them up. Just have the pot under there from where I drained it earlier. I'm also checking for leaks. But currently, everything works. Got cold water, we got hot water. So we are back in business now. Very happy. As you can see, I have a giant mess to clean up. That's what I do whenever I do a project. I got the kitchen completely tore apart. That's probably why my wife left today. But I will say that this was a test of the tiny house, and it passed with flying colors. My system for insulation definitely works very well with this house. But the problem is you cannot put pipes through that. So while trying to stick to like code and how things are supposed to be done, even though we don't have a plumbing code around here, because there's no inspection, doing it like this, honestly, you can't even see the pipes. I'll put the refrigerator back in that gap and you won't even see it. You literally just push it back there and it's covered up. And the rest of it's inside the cabinets. Now, I kind of wish I had done this in the first place because it really sucks to go back and do it now. I had thought about it, but I really thought that being 6 inches of insulation, they would stay plenty warm. What I didn't think about in my head is the Reflectix is doing its job, which is to reflect the heat back in the house and not let it outside. So if you ever want to use Reflectix on the interior behind the drywall or whatever your wall covering is, make sure you put your plumbing to the inside of the wall because it does matter, amazingly enough. But we are ready for anything now. Bring on the cold. I will just bear down, turn up my wood burner, and forget about it. I really think I want to now see an even colder night to see how everything goes. But with that said, we all make mistakes. It's kind of a mess. If you want to see more of our craziness, go ahead, go down, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can see all of our upcoming videos. Hit me up in the comments, let me know what you think. Let me know how terrible my PEX skills are. They do work, but I hate plumbing. And with that said, I'll see you in the next one. Holy crap, I got a big mess to clean up. Where's my wife when I need her?